Throughout history, battles have shaped the fate of nations, but some were so deadly that their names are etched in blood. In this video, we're counting down the deadliest battles in history, where the stakes were life and death, and the cost was unimaginable. We'll be journeying through time, from the ancient world's brutal conflicts to the mechanized carnage of the 20th century. Each battle on our list represents a vortex of death, a point in time where tens of thousands, even millions of lives were extinguished. These aren't just numbers on a battlefield, they represent the human cost of conflict, the families torn apart, the potential unrealized, all swallowed by the abyss of war. Buckle up, because we're about to delve into the heart of darkness, exploring the battles that left an indelible scar on human history. Our grim countdown begins with a battle that decided the fate of Gaul and marked the rise of one of history's most famous generals, Gaius Julius Caesar. The year is 52 BC, the place, the fortified town of Alesia in what is now France. The Roman legions led by Caesar are laying siege to a massive Gallic army under the command of the charismatic Vercingetorix. Roman fortifications encircle the town, a noose slowly tightening around the defenders. Outside this ring, a second line of fortifications faces outward, a desperate attempt to hold off a massive Gallic relief force that has arrived to break the siege. Caesar is outnumbered, trapped between a hammer and an anvil, his legions stretched thin. The fighting is brutal, a desperate struggle for survival on both sides. Finally, after weeks of agonizing siege warfare, a coordinated Roman assault breaks the back of the Gallic relief force. The Battle of Alesia is a decisive Roman victory, crushing the last vestiges of organized Gallic resistance and cementing Caesar's reputation as a military genius. But victory comes at a steep price, with tens of thousands of Gauls killed during the siege and the final assault. Fast forward nearly 2,000 years, and we find ourselves amidst the frozen hellscape of World War II in a battle that would become synonymous with urban warfare and unimaginable suffering, the Battle of Stalingrad. From August 1942 to February 1943, the German Wehrmacht and the Soviet Red Army waged a brutal war of attrition. The German Sixth Army, initially confident of victory, finds itself drawn into a meat grinder. The Red Army, fueled by ferocious patriotism, throws wave after wave of soldiers into the fray. As winter tightens its icy grip, the German advance stalls. The Soviets launch a massive counter-offensive, encircling the German Sixth Army. Trapped, starving, and freezing, the German force is slowly crushed. Stalingrad stands as a chilling reminder of human cruelty and resilience. Our journey through history's deadliest battles takes us now to ancient China, where two powerful states clashed in a conflict of epic proportions, the Battle of Changping. The year is 260 BC. The Qin state, known for its military prowess and ruthless ambition, is locked in a struggle for supremacy with the Zhao state. The Qin army, led by the brilliant but ruthless general Bai Qi, faces off against the Zhao forces under the command of Zhao Kuo. Zhao Kuo, eager to prove himself, falls for a cunning trap laid by the Qin general. He leads his army deep into enemy territory, only to find themselves cut off, surrounded, and hopelessly outnumbered. For months, the trapped Zhao army is besieged, their supplies dwindling, their hope fading with each passing day. Desperate attempts to break out are met with the disciplined might of the Qin army. Finally, after months of desperate resistance, the Zhao army collapses. Zhao Kuo is killed, and the surviving soldiers are taken prisoner. General Bai Qi, fearing a rebellion from the captured soldiers, orders their execution. Hundreds of thousands of Zhao prisoners are systematically slaughtered, buried alive in massive pits. From the blood-soaked plains of ancient China, we journey westward to the heart of the Islamic Golden Age, where a cultural beacon is about to be extinguished in a maelstrom of violence, the Mongol siege of Baghdad in 1258. Imagine the grandeur of Baghdad, the jewel of the Abbasid Caliphate, a center of learning, art, and commerce. Leading the Mongol hordes is Hulagu Khan, grandson of Genghis Khan, driven by a thirst for conquest. The Abbasid Caliphate, weakened by internal strife and overconfident in its defenses, proves to be ill-prepared for the storm that is about to break. The Mongol siege is swift and brutal. Their siege engineers employ gunpowder weapons and sophisticated tactics to breach the once impregnable walls of Baghdad. What follows is a week of unimaginable carnage, with Mongol soldiers rampaging through the streets, leaving a trail of death and destruction. The sack of Baghdad marks the end of the Islamic Golden Age, a devastating blow from which the region would take centuries to recover. Our grim exploration of history's deadliest battles now takes us to the killing fields of World War I, where a new kind of warfare, one of industrialized slaughter, reached its horrifying zenith, the Battle of Verdun. From February to December 1916, the German and French armies clashed in a battle of attrition unlike anything the world had ever seen. Verdun, a fortress city in northeastern France, became a symbol of national pride and a focal point for German aggression. Imagine the desolate landscape of the battlefield, a churned-up wasteland of mud, barbed wire and shell craters, devoid of life save for the constant threat of death. Artillery fire, on a scale never before witnessed, transforms the battlefield into a scene of unimaginable devastation. The fighting at Verdun is relentless, a brutal back-and-forth struggle for every inch of ground. By the time the guns finally fall silent at Verdun, after 10 long months of ceaseless carnage, over 700,000 men lie dead or wounded. Verdun stands as a stark warning from the past, a reminder of the human cost of unchecked militarism and the devastating consequences of sacrificing human life on the altar of national pride. The specter of World War I continues to cast a long shadow. The Battle of the Somme, fought between July and November 1916, epitomized the brutal stalemate and horrific losses. Imagine the anticipation and dread felt by the British soldiers as they prepared to go over the top. Over 1 million men lay dead or wounded, making the Somme one of the bloodiest battles in history. We return to the Eastern Front of World War II, where a different kind of battle, a siege of unimaginable brutality and suffering, unfolds: the Siege of Leningrad. For 872 days, from September 1941 to January 1944, the citizens of Leningrad, now St. Petersburg, endured a nightmare unlike any other. Surrounded by the German Wehrmacht and their allies, cut off from the outside world, the city and its inhabitants faced starvation, disease, and relentless bombardment. Food supplies dwindled, then vanished. People were reduced to eating rats, pets, even wallpaper paste in a desperate attempt to survive. Winter descended, bringing with it sub-zero temperatures and further misery. Despite the horrors they faced, the people of Leningrad refused to break. They organized themselves, sharing what little food they had, working tirelessly to keep the city functioning. When the siege was finally lifted in January 1944, over 1 million civilians had perished, victims of starvation, disease, and the relentless German bombardment. The Siege of Leningrad stands as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable adversity. Our journey through history's deadliest battles now takes us to 19th century China, where the Taiping Rebellion engulfed the nation. From 1850 to 1864, China was torn apart by a conflict between the Qing dynasty and the Taiping Heavenly Kingdom led by Hong Xiuquan. His message resonated with millions suffering under the Qing government. The rebellion escalated into a full-blown civil war, engulfing much of southern China. The Taiping army captured Nanjing, establishing it as their capital. The Qing dynasty, with Western help, launched a counteroffensive. The rebellion was brutal, with massive loss of life. By 1864, 20 to 30 million people had perished, making it one of history's deadliest conflicts. As we reach number 2 on our list, we encounter a conflict so vast, so devastating, that it's difficult to comprehend: World War I. From 1914 to 1918, Europe descended into a maelstrom of violence, shattering the old order. What began as a localized crisis in the Balkans quickly escalated into a global war. Millions of men mobilized, fighting in trenches that stretched for hundreds of miles. New technologies, from machine guns to poison gas, transformed the battlefield. By November 1918, over 16 million people lay dead, victims of combat, disease, and starvation. And so, we arrive at the apex of our grim countdown, the deadliest conflict in human history: World War II. From 1939 to 1945, the world was engulfed in a global conflagration that dwarfed even the horrors of World War I. Fueled by fascism, Nazism, and Japanese imperialism, the Axis powers unleashed a wave of aggression. From Normandy to Southeast Asia, from North Africa to the Eastern Front, the conflict raged. World War II blurred the lines between combatants and civilians, with entire cities bombed into oblivion. The Holocaust stands as a chilling testament to human depravity. The Pacific War was brutal, fought island by island. By 1945, 70 to 85 million people had perished. The world emerged forever changed, dominated by the US and the Soviet Union. World War II reminds us of the fragility of peace. We've journeyed through time, explored battlefields across the globe, and confronted the human cost of conflict on a scale that's difficult to comprehend. From the ancient world to the 20th century, one truth remains constant. War is a brutal, unforgiving affair, leaving a trail of death, destruction, and trauma in its wake. While the battles we've examined differ in their specifics, they share common threads: the ambition of leaders, the clash of ideologies, the technological advancements that make warfare ever more deadly, and the enduring human capacity for both extraordinary courage and unimaginable cruelty. Which battle do you think was the most devastating? Let us know below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on our future explorations of history's most significant events. Together, let's learn from the past, so we can strive for a more peaceful future.